nocturnal or the diurnal birds of prey. First of all, they're predators. They're carnivores that hunt for smaller animals that they're going to eat. That's their prey. They all have long claws on their toes that we call talons, and they use those talons to capture, to grab their prey. And they all have a beak that is curved and pointed, looks like a hook. They use that to pull their food apart. So those are the characteristics that all of these birds today are going to have in common. But then each group and then individual species are going to have some characteristics that are all their own. So we're starting with our smallest nocturnal birds of prey. Don't really get to see very often in our neighborhoods and in the cities. This is called a barn owl, like an old barn that's on a farm. They get that name because they love to sleep in old abandoned buildings. It might be an old barn, it might be an old shed, but that's where they go to roost or to sleep during the day. Now, when you're looking at her, you're going to see a really cool owl feature that is very exaggerated. So look at her face, and you can see she's got that heart-shaped face, and it's all white on the inside, and then there's that dark brown ridge. And it's like a satellite dish. That's called her facial disc, common in swampy areas. In fact, sometimes it's called the swamp owl, but this is our barred owl. Gets its name because it's got the bars that go up and down its chest. So this is Brody, our barred owl. He fell out of his nest on a really stormy night when he was a baby, and when he did, he injured his wing. If he had not been injured, he could have been very easily returned to his parents, but because of his wing injury, they knew he would not be able to fly well enough to hunt for his food for the rest of his life. Now, once again on Brody, you're going to notice that facial disc. You can see the outline of that heart-shaped circle around his face because he too is out at night listening for the sounds to know when there is prey. Brody loves to just give us a really workout. He loves to flap his wings. And these owls have become very popular, and it's always the owl that has the little feathers sticking up on top of their head. Those are the ones that you see, whether it be the pillows or the cute little shirts. So those are kind of modeled after the horned owl. So the horned owls have those feathers that stick up on their head, and those are just feathers. They're not horns, they're not ears. The purpose of those feathers is to help with their camouflage. If you think about those feathers sticking up, it kind of helps to break up the rounded silhouette of their head. Now take a look at the colors that you see on Jasper, our great horned owl. These guys love to live in the dry pine forest habitats. So they like the drier habitats while the barred owl likes the more wet habitats. And the colors on his wings and back look just like the bark of a pine tree. So when he sits in a pine tree during the day and closes those gold yellow eyes, he looks just like part of that pine tree. So really good camouflage there for him. Now he's the largest of the owls. You're getting a good look at his feet. He's got the most powerful talons of any bird that we have here on stage today. And he is sometimes even known as the tiger of the skies. That live around us, and we have 3 species to share with you guys here today. So we have first that came out, that's Emma with a broad-winged hawk. And then we have behind her, we've got Christine with a red-shouldered hawk. And then Haley's got our red-tailed hawk. So 3 of the common species in our area. Now we're going to let's talk about hawks first themselves all together. So hawks, we already see some differences between the owls and the hawks. Look at the shape of their face first. We no longer have that flat face with that facial disc. So their face is more pointed. Okay, so they don't have to work so hard to gather sounds because they are using their vision to hunt during the day. Their eyes are not as big as owls, and their eyes are not made the same as owls, but they do have excellent vision, and they have extra parts in their eyes that are different from the ones that we have